Hi, this is Grégoire. Okay, Greg from gregswhiskeyguy.com. Starting now a short series to hopefully entertain you within these crazy times with shorter reviews of unique whiskey at a time and less presentation, less put into perspective, and hopefully something that you can then after make your opinion about a whiskey that might interest you. So starting with this series, I have the next ones on the table. I'll try to put them on a regular basis. Scottish Single Malt from Speyside, north of Speyside actually. AULTMORE Single Malt from the Dewars, actually Bacardi is the parent company, but John Dewars and Son is an old owner of this, and within, in fact, also DCL, which was pre-Diageo name of the company, the big company, one of the two biggest. Bacardi probably is around the third one. Talking about Scotch whiskies, of course, but. So yeah, a single malt from the north of Speyside, close to Stratila Distillery, and unpeated one, non-chill filtered, non-colored, 46%, 18 years old. Beautiful bottle, I have to say. I think it's one of the most beautiful bottle, sober as well as sophisticated, nice glass as well with some engravings there, and I had the opportunity to get the single malt around 110 euros in 2018. It's probably a bit more now. Don't know about the dollars or pounds, but yes, it's above 100 anyway. So this is a single malt which is, I think, probably mostly matured in bourbon casks. I couldn't find the details about this. I know there's some sherry involved, so I will go for a mix of the two, or refill sherry. AULTMORE is a very wild, a bit wild style, herbal, a bit floral, but oaky style of single malt. At 12 years old, it's a bit harder profile than this one, and at 25 years old, it's a bit oaky and tannic and spicy, but it's much more sherried. So this is kind of perfect, I would say, intermediate between an entry level, maybe a bit frustrating single malt, but still well done, the 12 years old, and a stunning one, the 25. But this one, I think, is still very good and a good value. Not probably for beginners, with some austere profile, but I think worth chasing. So the color, now we know it's non-chill filtered, it's a rich gold, not too much glows, not too much glossy, not too much brilliant reflections, but yeah, in the yellow consistent register. So nice legs, because we know this is non-chill filtered, and this has quite some age. I'm not sure you see them. And we're gonna go now on the nose. On the nose, there's quite some oak coming in, and the vanilla and the sweet spices already. By the sweet spices, I mean cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and a bit of ginger. Probably more ginger than the three others, in my opinion. Then there's a lovely honeyed floral bouquet that comes on the nose on second, and maybe some angelica as well, I would say. I have my notes here, so Yeah, some dried herbs. In matter of fruits, I get, yeah, apricot, some raisins, some quince. For me the honey is acacia honey. Then I get some I won't say leather, but there's something like dry oak. It turns a bit to something more. It is not smoky, but there's something. Yeah, okay. There's some dried fruit, kind of a hazelnut and stuff, walnut, but it's a bit of a mix of something. You know, you take your aperitif, you have some dried fruits, noble nuts and stuff all together. So it's not something precise and unique, but several kinds of dried fruit. And I got this orangey feedback now with some vanilla, which is very pleasant. I think there's a complexity there. There's a little elegancy that I don't often find in the current choice of 18 years old. And especially these Speysiders that are not super sherried or super first fill bourbon, or so I like the fact this one has played more on more complex and um, second violin notes, if I can say that. So yeah, did I get something else on my notes? Let me check. Oh, you get some physalis. I don't know the name in English. It's those orange small Chinese fruit, if I'm not mistaken. And I also have some light Earl Grey tea, I would say. Okay, cheers, everybody. Tasting this neat, you have the same notes as the on the nose, with some. There's quite some dryness here. The dry oak comes up front. Then, fortunately, we have immediately after that vanilla, kind of orange sherbet, very light in sugar. Kind of also some citrus fruit, but I get more apricot than anything else, I shall say. Apricot, a bit of quince, not really sourness, so it's some kind of half dry, half sweet taste. The spices, I have to say, sustain that dry profile and not aggressive. The 12 is more aggressive. This one is calming down more. And then I get some beautiful flower. It's subtle. It's not very prominent. It's just something that adds to the complexity. And then I get the honey, and then I get some kind of let's say luxury fruit basket with everything a bit candied now. Some even kind of, let me check. I might go to some slight waxy style, Kleinishy, if I may say, a bit Kleinish. And then I get a hint, this refill sherry, which is wonderful, which provides dried fruits, like I said, walnut, hazelnut, also probably some dates, figs, and sultanas. But everything is mixed, melted very elegantly. And I like this kind of, you have to dig a bit in this one to find everything. And there's also this elegant tea note then on the background that's coming up, and then the vanilla and everything put together really nice way. I think it's a beautiful single malt. Let me now try with a bit of water. Well, did I tell you this is not a very big distillery. It's from the Bacardi group that owns also Aberfeldy, Royal Brackla, a bit more. Devron, which is Macduff, a new name, the Devron instead of Glen Devron. Macduff staying more for the indie versions, bottlings, and then also, shall I miss another one? Royal Brackla, I said. Craigellachie. There you go. So these are the 5 single malts, and also with the blend Dewars of the John Dewar and Sons, originally owned and now Bacardi parent company owned single malt. So a lot of care in the reopening of the distilleries, even if they're not all open to the public all the time, and also to the packaging and to the rebranding that was made in 2014. So there is a 12 years old, 18, 25, 21 for travel retail, and since last year several versions of single cask of the 22. And also there were some store pick, a bit more expensive, for France, for Whiskey Exchange and other shops that unfortunately I haven't tried. Okay, I'm digressing again. I cannot. So with a bit of water, but it's always good to let it settle down, or gentle swirl, to let the water interact a bit. It's always a shock to get some water in something that's not the same texture, viscosity, etc. Viscosity is medium here, by the way. Sorry. So with water now, yeah, the vanilla comes like a gentle blade to put all the things together and cover up. Beautiful. Everything is now calmed down. Spices are gentle. The ginger on top, like I said. The fruits are not very super expressive. They're just here like a signature, like the oak, like the honey, like the tea. But everything combined together with just a few drops of water makes it a beautiful style that for me is a bit unique to this distillery. I won't do comparisons here, don't want to be too long, but I would say just it's a kind of, well, Speyside is in the Highlands, but it's a kind of intermediate between the sweeter Speysides and the more characterful Northern Highlands. So this one makes, well, the link between those two styles, if we can summarize this like that. So okay, overall, like I said, I revisited some time ago. Yeah, for me it reminds me a bit, for the best batches, of the Balvenie single barrel, 15 years old, 47.8 I think, or 0.3, which was a bourbon driven whiskey. In this one we have more sherry, not much, but we have, so it's a bit different, but in matter of style it's a bit close to some Balvenie for those who don't know AULTMORE. So there you go. On rating I gave a 91 to this one, which is very honorable, so it's a mark of excellency. I won't advise this though to beginners, but rather for people who began to have a bit more experience, let's say a few years in whiskey. So a lovely, overall, a lovely single malt. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye. Cheers.